Welcome to Smart English Today. Do you forget words when you speak English? No problem. You're not alone. Today, I'm going to show you how you can resolve your blockage and speak freely without fear. I know exactly how it feels. You want to say something in English, but the words disappear. Your heart beats faster, your head goes blank, and suddenly it just goes silent. You're blocked. And it feels terrible because you're actually capable of more than you show. That's how it was for me too. At school, at the grocery store, on the street, even on the internet. Every time I wanted to speak English, I got nervous. I felt my English was slow, broken, and didn't sound like me. Every conversation felt like a test, and time again, I was afraid of failing. It was frustrating, sometimes almost painful. Then I realized something important. Speech blocks don't mean you're bad. They just show that your brain needs more exercise and small steps. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Step by step, together. How you can unblock your mind and learn to speak with joy and ease. Chapter 1. Understand why you're blocked. Maybe you sometimes think, why am I so blocked? Why do I forget words that I actually know? Let me say something important. It's normal. When I started speaking English myself, I had exactly these moments. I wanted to say something, my heart was beating fast, and suddenly my head was empty. Nothing came out. I thought, there's something wrong with me. But that was wrong. The truth is, your brain isn't doing this because you're bad. It does it because it wants to protect you. Our brain has a task to avoid mistakes. When it notices something could go wrong, it presses the brake. It blocks you like a computer freezing to avoid damage. And you know what? This blocking is not a sign of weakness. It's a signal that your brain still needs reassurance. Imagine, you're at the grocery store and want to ask something. You immediately feel the pressure. Your body is saying, "Warning, danger." Your heart is racing, your hands get sweaty, and you think, "I can't." But really, the feeling just means, take it easy, give me small steps. So the first tip is to stop judging yourself for your blockages. They are not an enemy. They are like a stop sign that says, practice a little more, gather a little more courage. When you understand that, something important happens. You stop fighting against yourself. Instead, you learn to read your fear and step by step, transform it into strength. Chapter 2. Reduce fear with small steps. Maybe you think you can only speak when your English is perfect. But that is precisely the biggest mistake. Perfection blocks you. Small steps set you free. I remember very well how in the beginning, I always wanted to make long sentences. I immediately wanted to tell whole stories. But every time, it just became pressure. I forgot words, I stuttered, I felt insecure. Then I realized something important. Speaking doesn't have to be big. It's enough to start small. Just say one sentence. Just say one word. Imagine you're at a cafe. You don't have to say, "Excuse me, I'd like a cup of coffee with milk and a piece of apple pie if possible." Just say, "A coffee, thank you." Or at the grocery store. You don't have to explain why you're looking for something. That's enough. Where is the bread? Short, simple, clear. Do you know why it's so important? Because courage is like a muscle, and muscles don't grow through a single heavy exercise, but through many small, safe repetitions. Every time you say a small sentence, you train your courage, and every time you succeed, your brain becomes more relaxed. It notices that it worked. I survived. It wasn't that dangerous. This way, you build down your fear, not with one big jump, but with many small steps. And here begins the next important point. As you take these small steps, you need tools to build sentences more easily. The next chapter is about how you can use simple words and fixed phrases to automatically make speech easier. Chapter 3. Speak with simple words and phrases. One of the biggest blocks occurs when we think we have to speak complicated things directly, but the truth is simple enough. When I first started, I wanted to sound elegant and perfect. I was looking for the right synonyms, long sentences, grammatical rules. The result was my head was full and my mouth became silent. Then I noticed when I use simple words, I can speak directly. And you know what? Most native speakers also speak very simply. Imagine you're at a restaurant. You don't have to say, "I would love to have that delicious soup that you have on the menu." That's enough. "One soup, please," and everyone understands you. Or if you meet someone on the street, you don't have to start a big conversation. Just say hello. "How are you?" It's short and yet a conversation. Very helpful are fixed phrases that you can use over and over again. For example, you can repeat it, "Thanks." "I don't understand." One more time. "Thanks." These are small sentences, but they give you security. They're like life buoys when your head is empty. If you write down a few such phrases and repeat them regularly, you will notice that speaking feels easier. Your brain doesn't have to rethink every time. It simply uses your language blocks. And the great thing is, with each small phrase, your courage grows, and you can step by step build longer sentences. And that brings us to the next chapter: how you can learn to be relaxed in conversations, even when you make mistakes or forget words. Maybe you've often thought, if I make a mistake, people will laugh at me, or if I forget a word, I'm bad. I know that feeling very well. When I first started speaking, I was constantly tense. Every time I said something wrong, I wanted to disappear. It was like a little critic in my head saying, "That was wrong, you're embarrassing." But in the end, I understood something important. Mistakes are not proof that you failed. They are proof that you're talking. Because the one who doesn't say anything doesn't make any mistakes either. Imagine, you're out with a friend and want to tell something in English. You might say, "Yesterday I went to the cinema." Yes, the sentence is not perfect, but your friend understands immediately. You were at the cinema yesterday. Communication works, and that's what counts. People pay much less attention to your mistakes than you think. Often, they're just happy that you speak their language. And if they correct you, it's not to ridicule you, but to help you. The key is to be relaxed. Smile when you say something wrong. Take a short break. Breathe deeply and keep talking. It shows your brain it's not dangerous. A tip that helped me: turn mistakes into a game. Tell yourself, "Today I get to make 5 mistakes." And when you've made them, celebrate yourself, because that means you actually spoke. And that's exactly what prepares you for the next step. The next chapter is about how you can build routine and courage in your daily life so that speaking becomes a completely natural habit. You might be thinking now that everything sounds good, but how do I actually speak regularly? The answer is to make it a habit, not as a big task, but as a small, natural part of your daily life. When I started speaking myself, I was often overwhelmed. I wanted long conversations, to express everything perfectly, and failed. Then I changed my thinking. Instead of taking big steps, I built in small routines, and that gave me the courage to continue speaking. Here are some simple ideas. Talk to yourself. Describe out loud what you're doing right now. I'm making coffee. I'm going to work. I'm reading a book. These small sentences train your brain without pressure. Choose safe mini situations. Say, "One bread at the bakery." "Thanks." Ask at the grocery store where the milk is. These are not tests, they are practice places. Build in a routine. 2 to 3 minutes of public speaking a day is enough. Do it always at the same time. For example, in the morning in the bathroom or in the evening when you cook. Find people who support you. A language partner, a friend, a teacher, someone you feel safe with. There you can try, make mistakes, laugh, and grow. The crucial thing is, courage doesn't grow all at once. Courage grows through repetition, through small steps, through everyday successes. The more often you speak, no matter how short, no matter how wrong, the more normal it becomes for your brain. And in the end, you notice you no longer speak with fear, but with joy. Your head is free, the words come more easily, and your English really feels like your own. That's the moment when the blockage disappears and speaking becomes your new habit.